Hi, welcome to a wrist session. So today we're going to do some wrist strengthening followed by some stretching out of our hands and our wrists. So especially if you're newer to the practice, but actually this can apply to absolutely anyone practicing yoga, we can get a build-up of compression in our wrists. And that's because we do a lot of weight bearing on our hands in yoga. So this is a great thing. Some of these exercises are great to bring into your daily practice, or if you practice once a week, to just do them before the class, to just get things moving. So we are going to start off seated. So finding a comfortable seat. I'm on a yoga block. If you have one, maybe grabbing that. If you don't worry, you can sit on a cushion, a rolled up blanket. It just gets the hips a little bit higher than the knees, and we want to find a space where we're kind of forgetting about our lower body and we're focusing on the upper body. And even though this is quite a short little session, we're still going to start off by a few grounding deep breaths. So once you've found your comfortable seat, relax the shoulders and the arms, maybe close the eyes if you want to just take a few moments before we begin. Just starting to deepen the breath in and out through the nose. If you want to, you can connect to an ujjayi breath, but that isn't required here. It just might help you clear the mind, settle in, letting go of any busyness around you, any busyness of the mind. Maybe bring your awareness to your wrists, your hands right now, and thinking, how are they feeling? And if the eyes are closed, we'll gently open them back up. And we're going to get started with a little strengthening exercise. So, staying seated, reach your arms out in front of you. So your hands are at shoulder height. And we're going to start to open and close the fingers as if you were flicking water off your hands. So it's not as simple as like a passive open and close. You're really being intentional with this opening and closing of the hands. Almost a flicking of the fingers. Notice what's happening to your spine here, so don't start rounding through the back. You want to sit up nice and tall as you keep opening and closing the hands. For some of you might feel this already. Sensation through the wrists, maybe the forearms. For others of you, you might not feel much yet, and that's fine too. But keep being intentional with those flicks. Maybe start to speed it up a little bit here. So just opening and closing the hands a little bit faster now. And then let's reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Keep going with that opening. Try not to reach up so much that your shoulders come towards the ears. Keep the shoulders soft. Open and close a little bit faster if you can. Keep breathing in and out through the nose. So reach your arms back down in front of you. Stay with it. I'm sure most of you are now feeling this. You might even feel a sensation that your hands aren't quite doing what you're telling them to do, but keep going, keep opening and closing the hands. If an ujjayi breath helps here, go ahead. And let's reach back up towards the ceiling, stay with it, keep opening and closing the hands. Breathe into any discomfort here and know that what we're doing is strengthening. We're building strength in the wrists, the forearms. Last few breaths, stay with it. One more big breath in. And as you exhale, just let the hands float down onto the lap. Allow a sensation of release. You might have even felt a bit of heat building in the body as you did that. So we're only going to take one round. That was it. If you want to repeat that, you can do. Maybe you come back to it when the hands have sort of cooled down. You might want to rotate the wrists a couple of times. And that's a great exercise, even just for 30 seconds. We did 2 minutes then, but 30 seconds before class is a great thing to do just to get those wrists warmed up. From here, we're going to come onto all fours, tabletop. Hands below shoulders, knees are hip width apart. Take a little look down at your hands and spread your fingers wide on the mats. Press down with each fingertip and each knuckle pad. So if you're not sure what your knuckle pads are, they're these sort of padded bits on the reverse side of your knuckles. So once you've found that, you're spreading the fingers wide. You're going to take some rotations around the wrist, so nice big circles around the wrists. Notice as you take these circles which fingertips are pressing down, maybe the thumbs losing that engagement. And really try and equally press each of them down. Let's change directions. Making sure that not all the weight is pressing into the heel of the wrist. It's really important to try and avoid that. Bring yourself to stillness and walk your left fingertips towards the left and your right towards the right. And we're going to just sway from side to side now. So only going into this so much that the whole of the palm stays grounded. So you don't want the heel of the wrist to start peeling up. And let's bring yourself to stillness. Walk the fingertips all the way back round so they're reaching towards the knees. For some of you, this might feel really intense, so just stay in stillness. That's a great place to be. For others of you, you might just start rocking backwards and forwards. Don't worry if it's quite a small movement, especially to begin with. And coming to stillness when you finish. And we're going to just take a little break, so sit back, rotate the wrist. We're going to take one more on hands and knees before we come back to a seated position. So coming back onto your hands and knees, this time just turn your hand, so you just turn it over so the back of the hand is on the floor. Again, this might feel really intense for some of you. If it does, you can just stay in stillness for 1 breath, 2 breaths, as long as you can. Otherwise, maybe you start opening and closing the hands. Just maybe going for 5 to 10 rounds of opening and closing the fingers. Once you have completed the 5, the 6, the 10, again, just gently sit back onto the heels, release the hands, maybe shake them out. That feels quite nice after that one. And then make your way back to a seated position. I'm going to grab my block again just to make myself nice and comfortable. And we'll take one more little stretch for each of our hands. So finding that comfortable seat and then reaching the hands out in front of you. So imagine you are pressing into a wall. As you do that, you spread the fingers as wide as you can. Try not to press the shoulders forward, so the shoulders stay exactly where they are. From here, we're going to rotate our right fingers down and then your left. Again, really think about imagining pressing both hands into a wall. And just breathe here. Keep reaching the fingers back towards you. And remind yourself to spread the fingers wide. They might start sort of sagging a little bit, but stay with it. Rotate your right hand back up, followed by the left, and then release both of the hands down. We're going to do that once more and add on one more variation to it. So when you're ready, if you need a break, by all means take a little bit longer. Otherwise, reaching forwards. Find that engagement, so really think about pressing the hands forward, spread the fingers wide. Keep the spine nice and long and straight, and then let's rotate the right hand down. This time, you're not going to follow with the left, you're going to use the left hand to gently pull your right finger down, your baby finger down on the right hand. And once you've pulled it down a little bit, maybe gently pull it back slightly towards you. You don't need to do this too intensely, but just enough that you're feeling a stretch. And let's move on to the ring finger. So start by pulling it down. Keep spreading the rest of the fingers. And then gently pull it back towards you. It should feel like a nice stretch here. And onto the next finger. So start by pulling down. And then gently pull it back towards you. Moving on, index finger, pull it down. And then pull it back towards you. Moving on to the thumb, you're going to pull the thumb sort of back towards your face here. So it should feel like quite a nice stretch along that sort of fleshy part of your thumb. Keep spreading the rest of the fingers. And release, let go. Place both hands on the lap before we move on to the other side. When you're ready, again, if you need a little bit longer or shake anything out, do so. Otherwise, you're reaching both hands forwards. Find the engagement. Reach the fingertips back towards you before you make any further movement. Then let's rotate the left fingertips down this time. And instead of following with the right hand, we're going to do that pulling and pulling down and back. Let's go for the baby finger on the left hand. Gently start to pull it down. So we're not tugging here. We're just going for a gentle pull down and then a gentle pull backwards. You might notice that some of the fingers are way more bendy than the others, and that's completely normal. And let's move on to the ring finger. So pulling it down and then gently pulling it backwards. So it's more of a guide, I would say, than a pull. So just guiding that finger backwards. Moving on to the next finger. Again, pull it down and then back towards you. Try as much as you can to keep the other fingers spread wide. It feels a little bit weird, a little bit strange. Let's go on to the next finger again. Pull down and then gently guide it backwards. Try and keep breathing deeply as we do this. Let's move on to the thumb. Again, pulling that thumb almost back up towards your face. Getting that sort of knuckly, jointy bit of the thumb. Keep the other fingers spread wide. And then releasing both hands down onto your lap. It might feel nice to just shake the hands out a few times. Releasing that out. You can repeat any of these exercises as much as you want, as much as you need. As I said at the beginning of practice, it's a great way to just get those wrists moving, get them warmed up. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this little mini class on wrist health. Look after your wrists. They're really important, not just in your yoga practice, but we use them so much without even really realizing it. Do let me know if you have any questions at all. Otherwise, I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.